All right, there we go. Now that should have worked. Again, just whisper me back if they don't go through on your account, and we'll get support working on that. I'm going to be styling today, cruising around the fine. Yeah, I know. I think that's one of the things Tron really missed out on, the opportunity here with the store. Instead of sort of doing its company-centric business model here instead of player-centric. If they had just given us a whole bunch of cool looking shit to buy in the store, cars and stuff, and outfits, that would have been fine. But the minute they threw in Arc Forge and that kind of stuff in the store, they sort of ruined the ability to do a lot of other stuff. Like the one thing that really irked me back when the Arcbreaker DLC released, and we finally got the ability to upgrade our weapons through the rarities. And when it was first released, we had an unlimited number of upgrades. So you can take a weapon from white all the way up to legendary. But they nipped that in the bud pretty much when they put Arc Forge in the store, because then you sort of, you're skirting the pay-to-win issue there with the store. But it was like, come on, one of the best, because there's no crafting in this game, so this at least was an opportunity to add a little bit of a crafting element. Go farm Arc Forge by playing the game, and then upgrade. You got a favorite weapon? If it's a white weapon, it don't matter. Just upgrade it all the way. That's all you need to do. Just keep the store all cosmetics and stuff. Because I have a whole bunch of weapons that I just use because they're my favorite weapons, and some of them were like the bonus weapons. The pre-order bonus or whatever it was, like the codes, the original ego codes that they had, like the Thunder Shock and the Firestorm. I still use those because I think they're just great weapons. I mean, the Firestorm got nerfed into oblivion, but I'm like, I don't care. I like the gun. I want to use it. So finally having the ability to upgrade it to legendary was great until, of course, they took that ability away. Fortunately, I was able to upgrade most of my favorite weapons at least to purple before the lock-in came in. So I've got one more opportunity to upgrade them to legendary. But still, I don't like the fact that, we can't upgrade, get our favorite weapon and upgrade it to legendary. Because they sort of want to make the game all about, finally, okay, chase for the weapons. Now that we're not logging so much, this is perfect. A weapons chase. That's essentially what the end game is. It's a weapons chase, which doesn't interest me that much. Like I said, once I get a weapon that I like, I'm sticking with that weapon. And I'm going to upgrade it as much as I can, but, I don't do PvP that much, so I don't have to worry about min-maxing. Now, expeditions are an issue, of course, because I'm not using the most powerful stuff I ought to be using. But I get my joy out of the game just by doing stuff like this and running around and doing arc falls and emergencies and dailies. That's where my fun is in the game. So let me upgrade my weapons and just let me do that. I don't care about the weapons chase. I don't want to have to go through a weapons chase because that's just annoying to me. Thank God I'm Ego 6000 here, because I can just stand here and be a bullet sponge. Come on, where's more? Oh, gold! Look at that. Chasing Goulanite kind of sucks. Yeah, from the closed beta. Yeah, that's the new currency or whatever. Where is the refined Goulanite and stuff? Yeah, looking forward to that system, because that is worse than trying to get Arc Forge here.
3, 2, 1. Dark matter coming in from the west.
Am I redoing it? Okay, sure. It's letting me redo it. Somehow I restarted it, but that's alright. Come on, fellas. See, I don't remember if there's a 99er Rampage. Yeah, this thing is working much better now that I'm not getting too much lag here.
Dark matter from the north.
Come on, here we go. I know, you're right there shooting at me. Where's the other one at? He's over here. Taking it out from this side. Here we go. One left. There we go. Now we got him.
Dark matter bringing trouble from the east.
Come on, fellas. Anybody else been watching Doctor Who on Twitch? It's been... Oh, yeah, I forgot they do have that. Problem is, I don't have a whole lot of time to watch anything. I barely have enough time to stream and play games. Usually when I'm streaming anytime I'm streaming is usually the only free time I have to do anything. So I'm like, if I got free time, I want to play and stream. So any other time like that, it's either I'm working, taking care of the kids, or doing stuff around the house that has to get done because I've put it off for weeks on end. But yeah, yeah, I like that Twitch is doing that kind of stuff now, because I've actually been able to catch the Bob Ross channel a couple of times, which I loved. I always loved watching Bob Ross on PBS. And then Mr. Rogers. I know they had Mr. Rogers marathons too, but I haven't been able to watch the Doctor Who yet. Because I really like the classic stuff. I've got a lot of the DVDs and stuff. So I've watched them, but yeah, I know Doctor Who, man. That's the ticket there, especially the classic one. I'm not into the reboot, quote unquote, era of Doctor Who. Yes, we got Dark Matter. All right. It's the classic Who for me. I've caught a couple of. I've watched a couple of episodes with Matt Smith and Chris Eccleston and Dave Tennant. I don't think I've seen anything with Peter Capaldi. I think I might have caught like 5 minutes of it once, but I haven't really watched any Peter Capaldi stuff. But even all the others, it was cool. I enjoyed the episodes, but it's like, yeah, that's not my Doctor Who. My Doctor Who is the classic stuff. Tom Baker being my favorite because he... Okay, no more. I'm done. Stop. I gotta zone out of here. Can I zone out? Abandon, restart, abandon. Thank you. Yeah, because Doctor Who's... Tom Baker is the first Doctor I grew up watching. So he's always tended to be my favorite, if I had to pick a favorite. But once I really started getting fun, growing, once I started getting older and could understand, the concept of what Doctor Who was, a television show, and how, and what, the regenerations and all that kind of stuff, and I started getting more fanboyish into it, and looking at the backstory and watching old videos and stuff. I really enjoyed like all the previous 7 Doctors, the original 7, I guess I should say. Bits and pieces from them. They're all Pertwee this week. Yeah, it was nice. It's funny though, because when I started watching back in the 80s, of course, here, I don't know where anybody else is from. I know Kat's from the Netherlands, but here in the U.S., when Doctor Who came on PBS, we were usually at least a couple years behind on the season. So whatever season they were on in England, like if they were on, like, say, season 10 in England, we were only watching season 8 here. We could only watch we were only up to season 8 here in America. And so, of course, when PBS reached the end of the episodes that they had available, of course they'd go back and restart whatever they had available. So, of course, I started watching the Tom Baker area. When they ran out of Tom Baker episodes, they ended up going back. I think they started going back. They didn't do a lot of the Troughton or Hartnell era, but they did Pertwee, Baker, and then eventually Peter Davison. So, of course, when they ran out of Tom Baker episodes of the show, they'd go back and start with the John Pertwee episode. So, when I first started out, I always thought, oh, okay, Tom Baker was the first guy, and then Pertwee followed him. So Pertwee was actually after Tom Baker. Until I realized, okay, then they started getting the Peter Davison episodes. So I was like, okay, where's this guy fall into the place? And I saw the regeneration episodes. I was like, oh, okay. John Pertwee's before Baker, and then it's Maine. Oh, nice. Maine's a nice area. And then it's Peter Davison, and then of course we eventually got the Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy eras. And so, after that, after I learned it actually made sense of the chronology, it's like, oh, okay, now I can follow it a little bit more. But that was always funny. I always thought, it's like in those early years, I thought, okay, John Pertwee follows Tom Baker in the regeneration cycle. But yeah, it was good stuff. Yeah, I've got to figure out. I got to figure out when I can tune into that. Because I've recorded. I think back in the VHS days. Ooh, here we go. This will help us with grid. I recorded pretty much every episode I was able to get my hands on. So I pretty much have every episode that was released or that wasn't destroyed from the early days up until. Obviously went off the air after Sylvester McCoy's 3rd season. And of course, then we got the one-off American movie with what's his name? I can't think of his name now. I'm going senile. Which was decent, but again, it was like, okay, they're trying to play with the lore a little bit too much. Yeah, I'm not liking that. But I was so hoping that that one-off would lead into at least another series. Oh my god, it's lagging. Alright, but now I don't want that, because I just want to tag and bag numbers here. That's all I want to do here. But I think the new era of Doctor Who, it loses the campiness. I think one of the things that was great about the original was just low budget campiness, and that was part of the charm. And I think you lose something. You lose some of that charm when you start getting the budget and you start doing things high tech, or you know, you're getting a little bit more fancy with it. I think the cheap campiness was part of the appeal to it. Of course, back in the day, that was, you know, you're talking about high tech special effects and costumes and all that. So it's all relative, but I mean, I don't like the new look of the TARDIS. The fact that it was just an old TARDIS, old Type 40, the old rondelles. It was always pretty cool for me. It was always part of the charm for me. And of course, with that one-off special, and then it was like, oh my God, they upgraded the TARDIS. I don't like it. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Star Wars now, and especially Star Trek. With those reboots, it's like, yeah, they're making money with them. You know, they're entertaining films to watch, but it's not Star Wars. It's not Star Trek. You know, it's like J.J. Abrams and the Disney crew and everybody involved with both the Star Trek and Star Wars productions have sort of forgot what made the original Star Trek and what made the original trilogy so appealing to everybody. And I think that's sort of happened with Doctor Who, with Doctor Who too. Again, it's great. I'm sure, you know, obviously there's a lot of great fans for it and that kind of stuff. But they sort of lost what made Doctor Who popular and great to begin with. And the same thing with, you know, the Star Trek and the Star Wars. It's like as generic sci-fi action blockbusters, yeah, sure, all the new Star Trek and Star Wars movies are awesome, you know, in that regard. As sort of like, you know, the dumbed down, just sci-fi, spectacular scenes and all that kind of stuff on the screen, you know. But that's not really what the appeal was for all the original things of Doctor Who, Star Wars, and Star Trek. It was the storytelling. It was the character interaction. You know, because they had to tell a story. They had to have good character interaction because the special effects were so cheap. But yeah, I think, unfortunately, most of my time now, whenever I do get to watch anything, is relegated to whatever Abby the Troll would like to watch. That's pretty much it now. So it's all the Disney movies. And Spirit, the movie Spirit, which I never heard of, but my parents have a DVD of, and they brought it over. She's really into that now. And apparently there's a series on Netflix. Movie came out in 2002, and there's a series on Netflix based on it about this horse. The main character is a horse in the Wild West. My daughter's, you know, Abby's really into it as a 3-year-old now, so that's generally what we watch. What in popular media isn't dumbed down? Yeah, see, that's the problem. You know, it's funny. I was going to do, because I want to write a blog about The Last Jedi. I've been planning this for months now. I've neglected my blog a little bit too much because, well, I've been playing games and working for the most part. So I haven't really had time to sit down and do a lot of the blog entries that I like. But one of them I wanted to do was about The Last Jedi and why I think it was, you know, essentially sucked. That's going to be the title. Why The Last Jedi sucked. Whenever I get around to doing it, I bought the Blu-ray. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet, but I want to watch it before I write the blog so I can get, you know, refresh my perspective on it. But one of the things I was thinking about, and one of the things I wanted to write in the blog too, or actually do a vlog. I wanted to do a vlog on this. was about about YouTube and the Paul Logan effect on YouTube, and sort of how we consume videos now. And what made me think of that is just like the stupid stuff you find on TV now. And I was going to bring up Big Brother, the Big Brother TV show, as an example, which is ironic because now I'm seeing commercials for the 20th season of Big Brother. I'm like, oh God, it's still going after 20 frigging years of just inanity. And reality television, and sort of bring it into that. But I mean, you want stupidity at the highest level? That that's reality TV. That's Big Brother. That's Survivor. That's all these frigging shows here that have essentially ruined anything good. It's like even the Defiance TV show. I mean, it started out with such great potential. We had such great potential here with Defiance. The cross-media content, the show. I mean, a lot of people didn't like the first season of the show. They thought it was kind of generic and that kind of stuff. But to me, I thought the first season of the show actually had a lot of the great potential. And it's like, yes, I could see where this is going to, this is really going to be a great concept. We've got a fun, entertaining game to play. We've got a fun show that can evolve over time and get better over time. And then sci-fi happened. And then sci-fi did their usual sci-fi thing and made the show completely sucky and irrelevant. Because they just had to, do their sci-fi thing. And so as a result, sci-fi is now a completely, what could be a great television network for us nerds turns out to be utter crap. This movie is the future of idiocracy, yeah. But it's the same thing. You watch The Last Jedi, and I thought, it had some really great Star Warsy parts. There were really parts of it I said, yes, this is the perfect opportunity to further along the lore and the story. But those bits were just drowned in the sheer utter terribleness of the rest of the movie. I mean, I thought The Force Awakens was a decent reboot, a decent entry. Obviously, it was just a remake of The Last Hope. But I thought it brought me faith that, okay, we're in good hands now. I can see good things coming for Star Wars. And then Rogue One, I thought, was even better. I know a lot of people have hated Rogue One, but I thought Rogue One was excellent in how it incorporated what we loved about the original trilogy and brought in new elements to it and gave us a new perspective on the original trilogy. I thought it was great. And then The Last Jedi happened, and I'm like, seriously? And really, they've now relegated themselves to the area of the prequel trilogy. And I always, I hate to say I hate the prequel trilogy, because again, like The Last Jedi, there's parts in the prequel trilogy which are great. Essentially the lightsaber battles, the space battles, they're great. They entertaining. Sort of everything else in the prequels was just like, oh my God, it's just not good. Oh God, I'm stuck. Can I get out of here? I'm stuck in the scenery. Jump for your life, Wyler. Jump for your life. Don't make me extract out of here. I don't want to have to map out. There we go. I'm free. But the problem I say happened with the prequel trilogy is that George Lucas got enamored with the technology. And I call it the Jurassic Park effect. Because Jurassic Park was really the first movie that showed us the potential of CGI. I'm dead anyway. Jurassic Park really showed us the potential of CGI and how it can advance, cinematography, and a lot of other stuff. But the problem, oh my God, she got killed trying to revive me. So let me self-revive. I'll revive. Let me kill this guy first. Maybe. Alright, let me go revive you now. But the problem is that George Lucas got so enamored with what he could do with the CGI at the point to where he started thinking about releasing the prequels, is that they unfortunately became the storytelling point of the prequel trilogy, and that's now the same thing I think that happened to The Last Jedi. Instead of letting the characters, instead of coming up with a great story and making the special effects help enhance that story, he said, okay, what can we do with the special effects, and let's do this with the special effects and just have the story focus on what we can do with the special effects. And so that's what the prequel trilogy was all about, was just having this, oh, look what we can do with these special effects. I want to do this. So let me have the story, let me force the story into showing this scene on the screen. And that's exactly what happened with Last Jedi. The famous Holdo maneuver. I guaranteed, back when they were coming up with the concept of the movie and developing the storyboards and stuff, I could just see everybody sitting in the storyboards up there say, we need something cool, and we need something really, we need something that's going to make people sit back at the theater and go, holy crap, look at that. And that's what they did. That's what that entire Holdo maneuver scene was all about, was just saying, wow, look at this. So I could just see them up on the storyboard saying, boom, 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 boom. How do we get to this point to get this on the screen? And so they forced the story around that scene. And of course, they've utterly, and by doing so, they've utterly destroyed every single space battle ever in any Star Wars movie, past, present, and future, just because they just wanted to show something absolutely spectacular on the screen, which again, it was a great scene. I thought it was a great scene to watch and look at. But if this was if Last Jedi was just a generic space action movie, had no relation to Star Wars, whatever, it would have been a great movie. It would have been a great blockbuster sci-fi action movie, which is what it is. But when you put it into a universe that has an established lore and has established parameters on how the world, the universe works and what makes the universe entertaining and appealing to people, and then you start throwing stuff in there that absolutely goes against every single thing that's been pre-established, you then have a crappy Star Wars movie. And so I think that's what happened. They're and the same thing with Star Trek. They're just looking for just big cinematographic. I know I didn't say that right. Things to show on the screen and just make people go, wow, ooh, ooh, ah. And they do the job, but you're killing the IP by doing so. You're just absolutely decimating what made the IP popular, great, and made people passionate about it to begin with. So yeah, obviously these movies are going to do well, but you're not going to establish a following. You're not going to establish a community like we had when these things first came out. And it was all about the story and the characters and that kind of stuff. Alright, so let's see where we're at here. So we're going to have to be wrapping it up here in a few minutes. Get ready for our Extra Life stream at 3 p.m. today on the Extra Life for Kids channel. We're going to do a little bit of Neverwinter Online. Ugh. Alright, so much for getting the dailies done. I'm not getting the dailies or the weeklies done. I didn't even look at those today. Let me see here. So maybe we'll end the day out doing some of these contracts here. Let's do this first. Alright, the road to 2050, cleaning up paradise. So we've got dark matter done. Let's see how far are we? We're not even halfway yet. Shrill, we still got 1500. Grid, 113. Volge, no way we're getting Volge done this week. Scrappers, that's going to be tight. 99ers, we have an outside chance of finishing up too. So we got an outside chance of finishing up 99ers and Grid. I think those are the two we might be able to get up before the cutoff date this week. All right, let's look at the contracts here. North Point Rescue, that's the co-op. Thorn Lero, I'm already honored there, so I'm not going to worry about that. Incursion, we got that done. Alright, so we got that done at least. We got that aberration. That is, yeah, all the co-op maps, which I don't have time for. Chimera is the expert co-ops, which of course we don't have time for. Defiant Few, we got the Mark of the Defiant. That's a patron, a few threats. So Apex level Omnivolts and Mutant Minigunner or Grenadier. So that's going to require an invasion, incursion, or major arc fall for those two. See, I should have gone to that scrapper arc fall. Tar family, yeah, see, I didn't get any credit for any of that yet. So that's not going to happen. Seleptor is that stuff. Go directly to jail. We got that. Elite Coalition. So that's got to be expeditions there. Those are the expeditions. And of course, Shadow War we're not doing. Because we're probably not even going to get any PvP to pop at this point. The role-playing community I was in last year died that way. The focus was on creating huge boss battles and all-out guild fights instead of stories that made sense in character development. And ultimately, nobody cared anymore because stories only went from one epic battle to the next, with the plot having to be rescued again and again. And while you're working on all of them, I will still be going insane doing my sniper one. Yeah, I know. These pursuits are going insane. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And you just, you know, it's the nature of the beast today. It's all about, you know, the reality TV show. It's all about the Come on, why aren't you not scrolling here? You know, keeping up with the Kardashians. It's like, my God, these people have no business being as famous as they are, but we can't get rid of them because, yeah, see, all right, the menu's all screwed up here. Nope, exit menu, because I don't want to sell something I don't want to sell. And it's just, you know, it's the state of our entertainment here is just pitiful here. Scrapper, so I can get the Omnivolt. I just gotta make sure because I gotta get lunch. Because I barely had I had a plain old waffle for breakfast. No syrup, no butter, no nothing. Just so I can get on here as early as possible today. And we need the Mutant Minigunner, which is essentially going to require the invasion, incursion up here in Mount Tam. Because I think that's the only thing that the minigunners pop up on. Other than the roadside emergencies, which is not going to be enough people doing those. Alright, so let's go down here. Let's see if we can't kill an Omnivolt real quick on one of these miners. Yeah, I know. This week's going to be the mad rush, Sin. The mad rush for everybody trying to get as many pursuits done as they can. I just hope they get the store fixed before the end of the week. Because then I'll at least be able to think about trying to at least try to grab, you know, half an hour or so this week if I can grab up the patron pass and the boosts with my bits and at least get those two pursuits done. Hopefully there's going to be enough people here to, come on, get these things up to apex level. Yeah, the Kardashians are still alive, amazingly enough. In fact, I think it was Kim, right? Kim just got some grandmother drug dealer pardoned by President Trump, and got her released from jail this past week. I'm like, it's like, my God. Oh, they're done here. It's just how anybody else in the world right now can take America seriously is beyond me. It is just mind-boggling. The state of our entertainment, the state of our presidency is just, it's like ISIS can save themselves the trouble. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like they don't need to try to blow up anything here in America anymore. They don't need to encourage people to go on rampages and kill people. We are essentially a laughing stock now of the rest of the world.
All right, there's more coming, so hold your ground.
Are these things apex? Yes. Okay, so we just need an omnivolt to pop up here. But yeah, the Kardashians are still alive and kicking. I think their show is still on. I don't think they've canceled the show at all.
You can't stop.
But it's funny. It's like I hardly watch television anymore. Obviously, you know, my wife is is a big sports fan, so she'll watch sports. You know, she watches all the local sports, you know, all the Philadelphia teams. So, you know, she's into sports. She'll watch that. So we'll watch that on TV. Worst part is with Trump's success regarding North Korea, he might get a second term. Well, that remains to be seen. Now, you know, I didn't vote for Trump, but I didn't vote for Clinton either. You know, I thought, you know, it wasn't even, you know, the lesser of two evils. It was like, you know, it's like both choices are as bad as you can get in American politics as a choice for president. You know, as bad as politics are here in America, I'll usually try to find somebody to vote for, but I'm pretty much done voting for the party tickets. But I do have to say that Bernie Sanders kind of impressed me on the Democratic side this year. I didn't necessarily agree with everything that he you know, I don't agree with sort of the Progressive Party, but I thought Bernie Sanders, out of anybody, at least on the Democratic side, was their best opportunity. There was one guy on the Republican side, I want to say Kasich, but I don't think that was his name. That had some traction for a while out of all the Republican candidates, and I was like, you know, but I just didn't know enough about him or his policies to make an informed choice on whether he would be somebody I would support. But even so, you know, this whole thing with North Korea and stuff, I have to, you know, people are taking Trump to task because he refuses to condemn Kim Jong-un for all the atrocities and stuff like this after their meeting. And I'm like, you know, and it's the American press being the American press this time, which is a lot left to be desired as well. But, you know, the way Trump's handling it is exactly the way he needs to handle Kim Jong-un, because this whole thing with honor and the guy's a little, you know, I don't want to say he's off his rocker, but, you know, he's not altogether there. I think he's a, you know, Kim is a pretty smart guy. You know, he's not stupid. And there, you know, obviously you have this whole thing with the you know, the whole honor system, that kind of stuff that you get with you know, the countries from the Orient, you know, Korea, Japan, all that kind of stuff. So the fact that he's not condemning Kim is perfectly logical in my mind, to try to eventually get what we want out of him. Trump or Clinton were both not good. Yeah, no, yeah. In Europe, you could see that. So the fact that, you know, he actually made some progress here is, I think, a good thing. But, you know, it remains to be seen whether, you know, it's all just lip service that the Koreans are giving. You know, that this, well, Kim Jong-un is essentially given. I think, you know, I'd like to think that Kim Jong-un wants to make a genuine effort at being a stable and normal member of the world community. So I'd like to think that he's going to make genuine efforts in that regards to this pact that we're eventually going to have with North Korea. But, you know, again, that success remains to be seen. And you know what? If Trump can pull it off, then you know what? Kudos to Trump for being able to do that. Something I don't think that Clinton ever would have been able to get close to doing here. I didn't need to do that, but that's all right. So we got the Scrapper Omnivolt. I don't suppose we're going to luck out here and get something where we can get a mutant minigun there. That's all right. Let's go knock out some dailies here. Let's go see what we can knock out here before we wrap things up for lunch, and then be back on the Extra Life for Kids channel. For, like I said, Neverwinter Online here. So if anyone wants to join me at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Extra Life for Kids, I'll be streaming from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's try this again. Over on this channel on Twitch. And you can learn all about Extra Life as well. What is that? Is that not linked? That didn't show up as a link here. Did it show up as a link here? Huh, for some reason didn't show up as a link on there. That's interesting. But anyway, it'll be that channel on Twitch. Hope he can't pull it off, because the higher his approval rate is, the worse the disaster will be for this country. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously there's a lot to be desired with some of his attitudes and things, and you know, essentially we're on the verge. You know, if things keep going the way they're going, we're going to be on the verge of a genuine race war here in America. Well, race and class warfare here in America. So yeah, but yeah, I can, you know, it again, it's a tough call, because, you know, this having North Korea under control, so to speak, is really a necessary thing for world security. But yeah, you know, there's certain things that we don't need. We don't need another notch in Trump's or another feather in Trump's cap, I guess we should say. In a certain in that kind of aspect. But you know, that's again, that's where we're at in America right now, unfortunately. I mean, even with as bad as a choice that Clinton was for a lot of people in my position, you know, who aren't you know, diehard you know, tote the party line type stuff people. No, we're the moderates, we're the independents. We just, you know, neither party is really, you know, meeting our needs. But that being said, I mean, to me, there was absolutely no possible way that Clinton should have lost this damn election. Who the hell is calling me? I don't know, so we'll just get rid of that. And at the end of the day, the fact that he won is a sad state of affairs, based just on all the stuff that Trump said. I mean, like I said, you know, I think it's good to get somebody in there who wasn't, you know, a politician, so to speak. You know, not part of the you know, the system. It was sort of an outsider of the system. That, you know, that was one of the things I liked about Trump, that he was just not part of the political scene. Although, you know, it's not, you know, he is and he isn't. You know, he's sort of an outsider, but he was political, but sort of an outsider. But regardless, there's no way he should have won this election. And the fact that, and the Democrats did it to themselves, unfortunately, because they were just so die-hard set on having Hillary run because they wanted to have a female president. You know, they wanted to break the glass ceiling. And I said, you know, if they were more worried about actually just running the country and just focused on what the concerns were for your average American citizen here, they would have won the election going away. It wouldn't have been with Clinton, but they would have won the election in probably the biggest landslide in history. But because they were so dead set on having Hillary be the nominee that they railroaded Bernie Sanders essentially to do it, cost them the election. I mean, they could say what they want about Russian interference and all that kind of stuff. Sure, it had an effect, influence in terms of news stories, as did the FBI story about the Clinton email. You know, it all had, of course it all had an effect, but at the end of the day, that didn't influence my vote. My vote was influenced because of what the DNC pulled to railroad Bernie Sanders. To me, that what they did to influence the election to make sure Hillary was the primary candidate on the Democratic side was worse than anything the Russians possibly did during the election season. If I'm still weak by then, I will look to see. Okay, thanks, Chaz. Be nice to have you stop by. But yeah, that's where we are in the state of America. All our favorite IPs are destroyed, and we have a reality star businessman as our president. It doesn't get any better than that now, does it? Well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? We're just going to sit here and have some fun playing games. That's all we can do at the end of the day. And give away some codes. I was glad we were able to give away a couple of them codes there. So congratulations again to Sinmeister1 for winning both the APS Envoy outfit and the Fusion. What is it? The Furious Fusion Challenger. So we, in fact, I should say too that the APS Envoy codes are only good until the end of this month, June 30th. You have to use the outfit codes for. The cards for the Challenger are good until, oh, he's a good guy. Are good until the end of July 31st. So just a note, Sin, and anyone else who may have already or will eventually win one of these codes, you must use them up. You must use the outfit codes before June 30th. Let's just put it that way. The Challenger codes are good until the end of July. So we will still be giving away some Challenger codes throughout this month and next month. I'm going to try to give away all the rest of my outfit codes because, like I said, I still got a whole bunch of them left to give away. So, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to stream before the Valor cutoff. But we will be getting back into Defiance again, probably at some point next week again. And giving away some more codes. I keep forgetting, this is one of the longer missions here. Problem is, I've already got all my raider kills in. I think, what time is this reset? I think the dailies reset at 3 p.m. Eastern time, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because that would be noon California time.
Contact.
So I got time to get it done, but you know. Oh my God, he's done this one yet. All right. At least you didn't have a B-movie actor as president. Wait, yeah. yeah. Good old Ronald Reagan. Well, in any event, at least I think we can say at the end of the day, when we look back on the history books, I think we can still say at least Ronald Reagan will make a better president, made a better president than Trump could possibly ever be.
Weapons hot.
Damn it. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, with some of the attitudes that Trump has brought out and some of the things, you know, in regards to his bigotry, flat bigotry and stuff like that, the way he acts sometimes, and now he's really put himself in line to be another Andrew Jackson on that front. I think Andrew Jackson was one of the worst possible presidents we've had in America.
Clear. It's disarmed.
And really just some of his pettiness and just some of his
I'm on it.
narcissist like attitudes just reminds me so much of Andrew Jackson. Come on. Ooh. Where are we at here? Where are we at here? But at the end of the day, we're just here trying to survive. That's all. Come on, come on. Blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. There we go. That's what I wanted to do.
Going to cover. Weapons hot.
It's really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's in office. For us, the middle class, we're always getting the short end of the stick. No matter what. Because no politician panders to us. They only pander to the to their voting blocks, and that tends to be the poor and the rich. The rich who supply their campaigns with money, and the poor who will listen to anything they tell them, and anything the politicians tell them, no matter how true or false it may be, and get those votes. So I forget who said it, but somebody had brought up the point. You get sort of the stereotypical thing to where Republicans will tend to vote for. The Republicans will get the higher class, will get the people of wealth. Democrats will focus on the people of the lower class, the people who don't have the money. the poverty level. And I don't remember who had brought this point up, but somebody had made the point that, you know, they didn't understand why the poor kept voting Democratic, even when the Democrats won, because at the end of the day, you know, they're still poor. It's like, for how many years now have the poor been voting Democratic? We've had Democrats in power as much as Republicans, and yet you're still poor. So why are you voting for Democratic? Obviously, the Democrats are not going to make you less poor. So I always thought, yeah, that's something people just don't think about. Come on, are we done yet? We should be done yet. We should be done. Are we done? I think we're done. Yes, we're done. All right. That'll be it for us today. Such a joy talking politics, isn't it? We don't need the progenitor, so I'm not going to worry. Oh, Midsummer Mutiny. Oh, look, Midsummer Mutiny is here. Okay. Of course, just as I've got to end the stream here, we get the next holiday event up here. That's right. We'll get some Midsummer Mutiny, I think, next week. It should, I don't know actually how long it lasts. I think most events usually last a couple of weeks, right? Well, we'll find out. We'll find out if it's still active by the time I get to the next stream here. Well, anyway, thanks for joining me today, everybody. It's been a great pleasure. Again, join me around about 3 p.m. Eastern Time over on the Extra Life for Kids channel for some... Wow, that's bugging. I'm not going to sell anything right now. No, don't sell all. Thanks. Exit menu. It's been great fun again. Congratulations to Sin Minister 1 for winning those codes in today's raffle. I hope you enjoy the outfit and the car. Thanks for joining me today, everybody. It's been fun. It's been fun today. It's been fun, enjoyable. Thanks for joining me, Kat and Taz, and everybody else out there who's been lurking. Always a pleasure. Always enjoy the lurkers, and catch us next time. I've got our stream schedule up for this week. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't have to make too many changes to it this week. I think this may be one of the first weeks where everything goes according to schedule. So lots of good stuff coming up this week. Knocking out a couple more indie games this week and all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, I'll just say thanks here, everybody, because I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry and I must eat and check on the children. So thanks for joining me today, everybody. Join me next time, whenever that may be. If you can catch any of my other streams this week, it'll be great to have you along here in chat. In the meantime, it's BJ Waller saying thanks for watching, and until next time, I will see you in game.